At the start of the story, we meet a young man named Yejun, who is preparing for an important day in his life, his first day at college. From the outside, Yejun seems to have everything someone his age could want. He comes from a wealthy family, wears expensive clothes, and owns things that many other students can only dream about. However, despite all the comfort and privilege surrounding him, Yejun carries a quiet sense of loneliness inside. His life may look perfect, but emotionally he feels disconnected from the people around him. At the same time, another student named Soo-hyun is introduced. His life is the complete opposite of Yejun's. Unlike Yejun, Soo-hyun does not have financial security. He works several part-time jobs just to support himself and cover his daily expenses. His routine is exhausting, and he often looks tired because he spends so much time balancing work and school. Despite these challenges, Soo-hyun appears strong, independent, and somewhat distant from others. Soon afterward, the story introduces the female lead, So-bin. She is a hardworking and responsible student who studies diligently. Even though she puts in great effort, her grades are not as good as she hopes they will be. This often makes her feel frustrated and insecure about her abilities. Still, she remains determined to improve and continues trying her best. During one of the early college classes, Soo-hyun is seen sleeping on a bench in front of Yejun. His exhaustion from working multiple jobs makes it difficult for him to stay awake during lectures. Yejun notices this and gently wakes him up so that the professor will not notice and scold him. While trying to help, Yejun accidentally spills his coffee on Soo-hyun's shoes. Realizing what happened, Yejun quickly apologizes. However, Soo-hyun stops him from making a big deal about it and instead focuses on the class attendance being taken at that moment. After the class ends, Yejun approaches Soo-hyun again to apologize more sincerely. Soo-hyun notices Yejun's expensive watch and jokingly suggests that Yejun could give him a few dollars to pay for cleaning the shoes. Yejun takes the comment seriously and attempts to hand him some money. Soo-hyun laughs and tells him that he acts like an ATM machine. He explains that the accident was partly both of their faults, so there is no reason for Yejun to pay him anything. With that, Soo-hyun walks away, leaving Yejun slightly surprised by his reaction. Elsewhere on campus, So-bin is experiencing her own first day. She quietly prays and hopes that her roommate will turn out to be a kind and friendly person. When she finishes her prayer and opens her eyes, another student is already standing in front of her. The girl introduces herself as a second-year design student and casually asks So-bin to help carry her suitcase, immediately creating an awkward but memorable first encounter. Later, Yejun goes to buy juice for his friends. While there, he notices Soo-hyun working at the store as part of his job. Yejun tries to start a conversation, but Soo-hyun tells him that customers are waiting and jokingly says that people outside are waiting for Yejun's credit card. Hearing this playful remark, Yejun simply smiles and leaves. Another day at college brings an unexpected moment between Yejun and So-bin. When So-bin opens the door to the staff room, she accidentally slips and falls forward. Yejun happens to be nearby and quickly catches her before she hits the floor. Embarrassed by the situation, So-bin apologizes repeatedly, while Yejun calmly reassures her. Not long afterward, the students prepare for an overnight trip organized by the college. The assistant teacher suggests that So-bin should become the leader of the junior students participating in the trip. Soo-hyun is also assigned as a leader, meaning that the three main characters will be spending more time together. During the trip, So-bin often finds herself glancing toward Yejun. Yejun eventually notices this and becomes curious about why she keeps looking at him. That evening, one of the students drinks too much and suddenly loses consciousness. Concerned about the situation, So-bin asks Soo-hyun to let her handle the student. However, Soo-hyun ignores her suggestion and personally carries the student to his room to make sure he is safe. While this is happening, Yejun asks So-bin directly why she keeps looking at him and jokingly wonders whether she might have feelings for him. Feeling embarrassed and caught off guard, So-bin quickly invents an excuse and claims that someone is calling him. She then leaves the scene before the conversation can continue. Later, So-bin notices Soo-hyun cleaning by himself and suggests that everyone should help with the cleaning the next morning instead. Soo-hyun refuses and continues working alone. Curious about his behavior, So-bin asks why he insists on doing everything by himself. Soo-hyun responds by questioning why she asks so many questions. She explains that she has a habit of thinking too much and that sometimes it feels like her mind will explode from all the thoughts. Amused by her honesty, Soo-hyun smiles and tells her she should ask whatever questions she wants before that happens. So-bin then brings up something that has been bothering her. She reminds Soo-hyun that she sent him several emails the previous year but never received a reply. Soo-hyun looks surprised and tells her he never saw any emails from her. Meanwhile, tension arises when Yejun becomes involved in an argument with one of his seniors. So-bin arrives and pushes the senior away to protect Yejun. The situation quickly becomes dangerous when the senior tries to attack So-bin. At that moment, Soo Hyun steps in and stops the senior, telling So Bin to take Yejun away from the scene. Afterwards, So Bin treats Yejun's injuries and asks him if he can quit his part-time job. She explains that she wants to work as a research assistant for a professor and suggests that if he leaves the job, he must promise to remain a loyal and honest friend to her. Around this time, Soo Hyun finally discovers that So Bin's old emails had been mistakenly placed in his spam folder. Realizing the misunderstanding, he approaches her and apologizes for not responding earlier or helping her with her studies. Soon after, Yejun invites So Bin to go bungee jumping with him. She immediately refuses, admitting that she is afraid of heights. Yejun argues that if she continues to avoid her fears, she will never overcome them. When she continues making excuses, he playfully threatens that if she does not join him, he will not consider her a good friend and will not help her get a part-time job. Eventually, So Bin reluctantly agrees to go with him. When they reach the platform, she becomes too frightened to jump. Without giving her more time to hesitate, Yejun lifts her and jumps together with her. From a distance, Soo Hyun watches the scene quietly. After the trip ends, Yejun thanks Soo Hyun for helping him earlier during the conflict with the senior. Soo Hyun dismisses the gratitude, saying he did not do it as a favor. Yejun then suggests that Soo Hyun only helped because of So Bin, which irritates Soo Hyun and leads to a tense exchange between them. Meanwhile, So Bin focuses on finding a part-time research position with a professor. She approaches one professor who warns that if her work does not meet expectations, he will replace her with someone else. Confident in her determination, So Bin promises that she will not give him any reason to complain. As time passes, the three students continue interacting through group assignments and college activities. So Bin is eventually chosen as the leader of a project team that includes both Yejun and Soo Hyun. Although she initially feels uncomfortable with the responsibility, she accepts the role. During this period, the story also reveals deeper aspects of the characters' personal lives. Yejun struggles with constant pressure from his parents, who repeatedly compare him to his older brother and never seem satisfied with his efforts. This emotional pressure contributes to his feelings of loneliness and insecurity. At the same time, Soo Hyun deals with financial stress because he must support not only himself but also his mother and younger brother. These responsibilities force him to work harder than most students. As the group continues working together, conflicts and misunderstandings arise, but the shared experiences slowly bring the characters closer together. Their interactions reveal different sides of their personalities: Yejun's hidden vulnerability, Soo Hyun's quiet strength, and So Bin's determination to overcome her struggles. Eventually, after a stressful night involving drinking and emotional conversations, Yejun becomes overwhelmed by his personal problems. Worried about him, So Bin searches for him and finds him in a vulnerable state. Soo Hyun later arrives and helps carry Yejun home, showing that despite their conflicts, he still cares about his well-being. After safely bringing Yejun home and helping So Bin return to the dormitory, Soo Hyun quietly asks her not to tell Yejun that he was the one who helped him that night. This moment reflects Soo Hyun's reserved personality and his tendency to care for others without seeking recognition. Through these events, the story gradually builds a complex relationship between the three characters. Their lives, struggles, and personalities are very different, yet their paths continue to intersect, shaping a story about friendship, personal growth, and the challenges of young adulthood. The following morning, Yejun wakes up feeling confused. His head hurts from the previous night and he struggles to remember exactly how he got back home. The last clear memory he has is spending time with So Bin, but everything that happened afterward feels blurry. He tries to recall the events of the night, yet the details refuse to come back to him. As soon as Yejun arrives at college, curiosity and worry begin to bother him. He calls So Bin and directly asks if he did anything embarrassing or wrong the night before. So Bin initially prepares to tell him about what happened, including the unpleasant moment when he vomited after drinking too much. However, before she can explain anything, she suddenly changes her mind and quickly ends the call. Yejun feels even more suspicious after the call ends so abruptly. When he checks the call history on his phone, he notices Soo Hyun's name among the recent contacts. This discovery surprises him and he immediately begins wondering how Soo Hyun became involved in the situation. Without wasting time, Yejun rushes to college, hoping to find him and ask what happened. Once there, Yejun attempts to approach Soo Hyun to apologize for anything he might have done the previous night. But Soo Hyun reacts unexpectedly. As soon as he hears Yejun's voice, he avoids him and quickly hides to prevent any conversation. His behavior makes the situation even more confusing for Yejun. Later, during lunch, Yejun sits with So Bin and once again asks who actually brought him home the night before. So Bin remains silent and refuses to answer directly. However, the expression on her face reveals enough for Yejun to understand the truth. He realizes that Soo Hyun must have been the one who helped him and carried him home. After a moment of silence, Yejun asks So Bin another personal question. He wonders whether she has feelings for someone. So Bin answers honestly but does not reveal the person's name. Instead, she simply says that she likes someone who is always around her. The answer makes Yejun even more curious. Later, the two of them go outside together and watch the sunset. While looking at the colorful sky, So Bin begins describing the person she likes. She talks about this individual's personality and the way he behaves, but she carefully avoids mentioning any names. Yejun listens with interest and then jokingly offers to become her love guide. He suggests that he can help her understand her feelings and give advice about relationships. So Bin laughs and agrees to the idea, accepting him as her guide in matters of love. Meanwhile, Soo Hyun is dealing with his own problems. He spends time searching for a place where his younger brother can live and study comfortably. He visits several apartments, hoping to find something affordable. Unfortunately, the rent for most places is far too expensive for him to manage. Because of this, he begins looking for additional part-time jobs to earn more money. At the same time, So Bin and Yejun spend time together shopping. They browse through different stores and eventually buy a dress. During this outing, Yejun starts noticing subtle signs that there might be something meaningful between So Bin and Soo Hyun. He also notices a bracelet that So Bin always wears. From the way she treats it carefully, it seems to have special emotional value. On their way back, Yejun asks a straightforward question that has been on his mind. He asks So Bin why she cannot simply like him instead. So Bin responds calmly, telling him not to joke about such things. She points out that many girls already admire him and she has no interest in joining the long list of people who chase after him. After saying this, she leaves for the dormitory. Yejun returns home, but he cannot stop thinking about what So Bin said. Her words continue to echo in his mind. Soon afterward, he meets Chan Kai, who happens to be So Bin's close friend. During their conversation, Yejun learns that Chan Kai's girlfriend will soon be visiting. After hearing this, Yejun sends a message to So Bin suggesting that she should confess her feelings to her friend. Sometime later, after another meeting related to their class presentation, Yejun approaches Soo Hyun to thank him for helping the night before. Soo Hyun immediately becomes suspicious and asks how Yejun found out the truth. He wonders whether So Bin told him. Yejun jokingly explains that Soo Hyun left evidence in his bathroom which allowed him to figure out what happened. Soo Hyun dismisses the conversation, saying Yejun is wasting his time, and then walks away. In another moment, So Bin buys candles to decorate her friend's house. Yejun notices the bracelet on her wrist again and asks about it. She explains that her best friend gave it to her when she was only 8 years old, making it one of the most meaningful objects she owns. Later, So Bin decorates her friend's home with care. After finishing the preparations, the doorbell rings. When she opens the door, she suddenly sees a girl standing there. The unexpected sight frightens her and she quickly turns around as if she wants to leave. While walking away, she encounters Chan Kai, who asks if she came to meet him. Feeling uncomfortable, So Bin claims that she actually came to see Yejun instead. At this moment, the story briefly reveals a memory from the past. When So Bin's parents divorced, she felt deeply sad and lonely. During that painful time, her best friend gave her the bracelet to comfort her. That small gesture meant a great deal to her, which is why she still treasures the bracelet years later. Back in the present, So Bin becomes emotional and begins crying. Seeing her in such a vulnerable state, Yejun gently tells her that she can use him if it helps her forget the person she cannot stop thinking about. So Bin asks him why he cares so much and why he keeps trying to help her. Yejun answers honestly, explaining that he simply cannot bear seeing her in pain. After hearing his words, So Bin agrees to rely on him for support. At that moment, Yejun unexpectedly breaks the bracelet from her wrist, symbolically trying to help her let go of the past. At the same time, Chan Kai secretly watches from outside, curious about what is happening between the two. When Yejun and So Bin arrive together, Yejun suddenly introduces So Bin as his girlfriend. Chan Kai's expression immediately changes when he hears this statement. Later that night, Yejun drives So Bin back to her dormitory. Just as she is about to go inside, Chan Kai calls her. Yejun takes the phone and ends the call without letting her answer. So Bin asks him why he interfered like that. Yejun replies that since he's now pretending to be her boyfriend, he has the right to act that way. He also warns her that when people place too much value on someone, that person may end up taking advantage of them. So-bin quietly accepts his explanation and returns to the dorm. Meanwhile, Soo-hyun hears about a new part-time job opportunity from one of his classmates. He attends an interview and successfully gets selected for the position. However, he later discovers that the job was arranged by a friend who wanted to help him. Feeling uncomfortable with receiving favors, Soo-hyun refuses the offer. That evening, the friend confronts him and asks why he rejected the job. Soo-hyun explains that he does not want to rely on someone else's kindness because he values independence. Soon after, Soo-hyun's younger brother Gion arrives at the college campus. While walking around, he becomes distracted while looking at Miju and accidentally trips over his own feet. Embarrassed, he pretends to do push-ups to hide the awkward moment. Elsewhere, Yejun and Soo-hyun coincidentally end up wearing very similar clothes. Yejun playfully points out that their jackets look the same. In response, Soo-hyun removes his jacket. Yejun then jokes that their pants are also identical and suggests that Soo-hyun should remove those as well. Annoyed by the teasing, Soo-hyun tries to walk away, but Yejun continues following him. Eventually, Yejun tells him that if Soo-hyun wants him to stop following him, he should at least buy him a meal. Just then, they hear a girl scream nearby. When Soo-hyun turns around, he discovers his younger brother doing push-ups in the middle of the area. Embarrassed, Soo-hyun quickly stops him and pulls him away. Later, the three of them eat together. During the meal, Yejun observes how carefully Soo-hyun takes care of his younger brother. Watching their interaction makes Yejun feel slightly jealous because he realizes that no one in his own family treats him with such warmth. Before leaving, Gion notices Yejun's expensive watch and admires it. Without hesitation, Yejun gives the watch to him. Later, Soo-hyun discovers a large amount of money at home and asks his brother where it came from. After some questioning, Gion finally admits that he sold the watch. Soo-hyun becomes angry and scolds him for doing such a thing. Determined to fix the situation, Soo-hyun meets Yejun and promises to repay the debt. Yejun responds casually, saying that money does not matter to him and that he could easily buy another watch whenever he wants. Instead of asking for money, Yejun makes a simple request. Whenever he calls, Soo-hyun should answer and treat him like a younger brother. Meanwhile, Chan Kai later meets So-bin and reveals that Yejun knew his girlfriend would be visiting that day. This information shocks So-bin and makes her question Yejun's intentions. On her way home, she begins wondering whether Yejun manipulated the entire situation deliberately. To clear up her doubts, So-bin decides to confront him directly. When she finally asks him the truth, Yejun admits that he knew about the visit and that he acted the way he did because he could not stand seeing her chasing after someone else. Feeling hurt and betrayed, So-bin angrily ends their friendship. Regretful and confused, Yejun later calls Soo-hyun and admits that he hurt someone's feelings. Soo-hyun advises him to return to the person he hurt and tell them the truth. Following this advice, Yejun meets So-bin again and sincerely apologizes. He explains that his actions came from his desire to be closer to her and from his jealousy. After hearing his honest explanation, So-bin forgives him. Around this time, Soo-hyun collapses at a construction site where he has been working. He is taken to the hospital for treatment. When Yejun learns about this, he rushes to the hospital immediately. When Soo-hyun wakes up, he finds Yejun sitting nearby. Surprised, Soo-hyun asks how Yejun found out. Yejun explains that he called him earlier and learned from the nurse that he had been admitted. Soo-hyun scolds him for worrying so much and tells him to leave the hospital. Later, Yejun returns with food for him, only to discover that Soo-hyun has already been discharged and gone back to work. However, Soo-hyun soon loses his job at the construction site because the company refuses to hire students. Despite the setback, Soo-hyun reassures his mother over the phone that he will continue supporting his younger brother's education and that she should not worry. At the same time, Yejun contacts his older brother and asks for information about their father's company, hoping to use it for a project he is working on at college. The story continues to explore the complicated lives and relationships of these characters as they face challenges, misunderstandings, and emotional struggles while growing closer to one another. The following day, Yejun goes to meet his older brother in order to collect information and documents about their father's company. He needs the data for an important academic project. His brother agrees to help him but sets a condition. In exchange for providing the company information, Yejun must promise not to attend the next family gathering. Hearing this condition makes Yejun angry. He responds emotionally, reminding his brother that they share the same blood and even jokingly mentions that he once took a DNA test proving they are truly brothers. Later, Yejun meets So-bin again. So-bin approaches him because she wants to respond to something he asked earlier about her feelings. When Yejun realizes she is about to give him an answer, he becomes nervous. He dramatically places his hand over his chest and tells her to wait for a moment so he can calm himself down and breathe. So-bin then explains that she appreciates his honesty and is happy to know how he feels about her. However, she also admits that she still does not fully understand him as a person. For her, it feels too soon to make such an important decision because she believes she should know him better first. Yejun listens carefully and asks whether she would like to learn more about him. So-bin nods, saying she is curious and wants to understand the real person behind his playful and confident personality. Hearing this makes Yejun genuinely happy. He suggests a simple idea. Every day he will tell her one new thing about himself so that she can slowly learn who he truly is. So-bin agrees with this arrangement and the conversation ends on a hopeful note. Not long afterward, Yejun runs into Soo-hyun and immediately questions him about why he has been ignoring his phone calls. Soo-hyun calmly avoids the topic and instead hands Yejun some money. Yejun looks surprised and asks where Soo-hyun managed to get so much cash. He jokingly asks whether Soo-hyun sold one of his kidneys to earn it. Soo-hyun replies that the money is meant to repay him for the hospital bill and other expenses. He explains that now he no longer owes Yejun anything. Yejun shakes his head and says that Soo-hyun is forgetting something important. Soo-hyun pulls out a small diary and promises that he will soon repay the money for the expensive watch that his younger brother sold. Yejun looks at him seriously and asks how he plans to repay the emotional support and care that he invested in their friendship. Soo-hyun has no answer for that question and simply walks away. Frustrated, Yejun shouts after him that he cannot keep pushing him away forever. Meanwhile, So-bin later confronts Yejun about something that has been bothering her. She asks whether he was the one who spread the rumor that they were dating. She explains that Chan Kai did not tell anyone about such a relationship, so she suspects Yejun might have done it. Yejun becomes irritated and responds that she still seems to trust Chan Kai more than him. He adds that even if people did hear the rumor, it would not matter because it is technically true they have been acting like a couple anyway. After saying this, he leaves angrily. Around this time, Yejun's senior classmates begin pressuring him to leave Soo-hyun's project team and join their group instead. They secretly dislike Soo-hyun and begin plotting against both him and Yejun as part of their plan. They steal Soo-hyun's personal diary, hoping to use it somehow against him. While all this is happening, Yejun receives a phone call from So-bin. When he answers, he hears her crying. Concerned, he asks what happened, but she suddenly hangs up before explaining anything. Worried, Yejun searches for her on campus and finally finds her. When he approaches her and tries to wipe away her tears, she steps back and tells him not to touch her. Yejun asks whether someone told her something negative about him. So-bin responds emotionally that she no longer wants to remain his friend. She claims that ever since he entered her life, everything has become more complicated and difficult. Yejun looks heartbroken and quietly asks whether that is truly what she wants. So-bin answers firmly that from now on they should live like strangers so that neither of their lives will be disturbed by the other. Yejun cannot find any words to respond. He silently walks away while remembering something painful his mother once said, that he always brings trouble into the lives of the people around him. Elsewhere, Yejun's friend Yun is spending time with some senior students when he notices Soo-hyun's diary inside one of their bags. Realizing that it must have been stolen, he secretly takes it out. At that moment, Soo-hyun calls Yun and invites him to have dinner together. Yun immediately goes to meet him. During dinner, however, Soo-hyun tells Yun to eat by himself. Yun also witnesses Soo-hyun being harshly scolded by his boss at work. After the meal, Soo-hyun explains that Yun should stay away from him. He admits that his life is full of difficulties and that seeing Yun makes him feel weak and helpless, something he cannot afford. Yun sadly asks whether Soo-hyun invited him only to push him away. Soo-hyun replies that they can never truly be friends. That night, Yun reads Soo-hyun's diary and begins to understand the hardships Soo-hyun has been hiding from everyone. The following day, Yun's friends encourage him to rejoin the group project and he agrees. He also tries to motivate So-bin, who has been feeling discouraged lately. So-bin decides to visit her professor and asks why she was removed from her job as a research assistant. The professor bluntly tells her that he never liked her from the beginning and therefore does not want to work with her. Surprisingly, this answer gives So-bin a strange sense of relief because she realizes that losing the job was not actually her fault. At the same time, Ye-jun learns through a message that his seniors are creating trouble at Soo Hyun's workplace. He rushes there and discovers that Soo Hyun's boss has already fired him. Soo Hyun desperately begs for another chance to keep his job, but the boss refuses to listen. Ye-jun secretly records the entire scene. Afterwards, Soo Hyun sits alone in a corner, devastated and crying because he lost yet another source of income. Ye-jun quietly prepares to leave, but Soo Hyun suddenly calls out to him. He apologizes and explains that he invited Ye-jun to dinner earlier because he knew Ye-jun had been beaten up recently and wanted to cheer him up. Despite hearing this, Ye-jun says nothing and walks away. Back in his room, Ye-jun lies on his bed and begins wondering whether he truly brings problems into the lives of everyone he cares about. Meanwhile, on campus, Miju begins sketching Soo Hyun's portrait in her notebook because she secretly likes him. One of her friends shows her a photo of So-bin and Ye-jun together and mentions that people believe the two of them are dating. Shocked by this news, Miju rushes back to her dorm room to talk about it. That night, So-bin reflects on the argument she had with Ye-jun. She begins to feel guilty and thinks she may have said too many harsh things. She decides that the next morning she will apologize to him. When morning arrives, So-bin finds Ye-jun and quietly hands him a flower. She tells him that whatever meaning the flower carries is exactly what she wants to express. After saying this mysterious sentence, she quickly runs away. Curious, Ye-jun searches online to discover the flower's meaning. He learns that it symbolizes both love and forgiveness. He laughs softly, thinking about how unusual her way of confessing her feelings is. Later, So-bin approaches him again and tells him that she will be waiting for him to rejoin their team project. After saying this, she leaves once more. Soon afterward, Ye-jun's senior classmates begin teasing So-bin and demand that she hand over Ye-jun's study materials. The pressure becomes so intense that So-bin starts crying. At that moment, Ye-jun appears and defends her, standing up to the seniors. He also declares that he refuses to join their team. Instead, he chooses to work with So-bin and Soo Hyun on their project. Around this time, a video created by Ye-jun becomes popular online, and So-bin manages to find another job opportunity. Eventually, Ye-jun and So-bin officially decide to start dating. One day, Ye-jun takes her to a place connected to her difficult childhood memories. This location once caused her great fear and emotional pain. Ye-jun gently encourages her to face those memories instead of running away from them. With his support, So-bin manages to confront the fear she has carried for years, and she finally feels a sense of relief. Meanwhile, the seniors try one last attempt to threaten the group. They warn that if Soo Hyun, Ye-jun, and So-bin do not allow them to join the team, they will lie to the professor and claim that the project actually belongs to them. The three friends refuse to be intimidated and proceed with their presentation. When they present their work, the professor is deeply impressed by the project and praises their effort. Afterward, the seniors attempt to make false accusations, but the professor already knows that Soo Hyun is extremely talented and intelligent. Because of this, he does not believe the seniors' claims. The three students leave the classroom feeling proud and satisfied with their work. Soo Hyun attempts to talk to Ye-jun afterward, but Ye-jun jokingly says he is too busy to chat and walks away. Despite the teasing tone, Ye-jun secretly feels happy because he realizes he has finally found true friends. Later that night, Ye-jun and So-bin celebrate their success. So-bin drinks too much and becomes so drunk that she can barely walk. Ye-jun playfully warns her that he might kiss her. As he slowly leans closer, she closes her eyes in anticipation. However, Ye-jun stops at the last moment. When So-bin opens her eyes again, she unexpectedly kisses him first. Embarrassed by her bold action, she quickly starts walking toward the hostel, though she is still too unsteady to walk properly. Ye-jun laughs and lifts her onto his shoulders, carrying her safely back to the dormitory. When they arrive, Ye-jun tells her she should go inside. So-bin asks why he always seems to keep a certain distance from her. Ye-jun avoids answering and simply repeats that she should go inside and rest. She eventually agrees and returns to her room. After making sure she reached her room safely, Yejun calls Soo Hyun and asks him to check on her by contacting one of their friends. Soo Hyun follows the request, and they discover that So Bin had actually fallen asleep outside her room while still intoxicated. Later, Yejun meets Soo Hyun as promised. Soo Hyun shows him a video on his phone and asks whether Yejun created it. Yejun confirms that he did. Soo Hyun thanks him sincerely for helping him through that video and offers to buy him dinner as a gesture of gratitude. Yejun refuses politely, saying that Soo Hyun's thank you is already enough. For the first time, Soo Hyun smiles warmly at him. Yejun notices the change and comments that Soo Hyun's smile looks different from before. At that moment, both of them silently recognize that their friendship has become genuine. The next morning, So Bin wakes up feeling extremely embarrassed about the kiss from the previous night and worries about how she will face Yejun again. She confides in Miju about everything that happened. Miju advises her to act normally as if nothing unusual occurred. On her way to college, So Bin meets Chan Kai and they joke around casually. From a distance, Yejun watches them and feels a wave of jealousy. He walks over and tells So Bin that he wants to talk to her privately. When they are alone, So Bin laughs nervously and pretends that nothing happened the night before. However, before she can confess her feelings honestly, Yejun speaks first. He looks at her seriously and admits that he likes her very much. Hearing this confession makes So Bin smile warmly. She finally gathers the courage to admit that she feels the same way. Overwhelmed with happiness, Yejun pulls her into a tight hug, marking the beginning of their true relationship. New event soon brings energy to the campus when the college organizes a lively festival. Students gather to participate in different activities, enjoy food stalls, and watch performances. During the celebration, one of the professors asks Soo Hyun to sing at a small singing booth that has been set up for entertainment. Although Soo Hyun is not comfortable being the center of attention, he reluctantly agrees when the professor insists. Soo Hyun begins singing and his voice carries softly through the area. However, before he can finish, the performance is suddenly interrupted. At that moment, Yejun steps onto the stage. Looking directly towards So Bin, he begins to sing in a smooth and expressive voice. The song immediately captures the attention of the crowd. Soo Hyun quietly sits beside Miju and listens while Yejun continues the performance. After the song ends, Miju tells Soo Hyun that she actually enjoyed his singing earlier. Soo Hyun responds with his usual dry humor, joking that if she truly liked his singing, she should probably visit a doctor and check her hearing. His sarcastic comment makes the moment slightly awkward but also amusing. Later that evening, Soo Hyun and Yejun go together to So Bin's dormitory. Their friend Yang has secretly arranged a small birthday celebration for Soo Hyun. When they arrive, So Bin and Yang greet him enthusiastically and welcome him inside with decorations and food prepared for the occasion. Soo Hyun has never been comfortable celebrating his birthday. Because of his difficult life, he usually treats it like any other day and prefers to ignore it. At first, he refuses to participate in the party activities, but his friends insist that he should relax and enjoy the moment for once. Slowly, he begins to give in to their encouragement. Toward the end of the celebration, everyone decides to play a popular party game called Truth or Dare. When Soo Hyun's turn arrives, Yejun asks him a question: how many real friends he truly has in his life. Soo Hyun thinks for a moment and replies that he has 2.5 friends. Curious about the strange answer, Yejun jokingly asks whether he is the half-friend. Soo Hyun immediately denies it and sarcastically says that Yejun is not even 1/10 of a friend. Soon it becomes Yejun and So Bin's turn to answer questions. Their friends begin teasing them and asking about their relationship. Instead of giving long explanations, both Yejun and So Bin simply respond by nodding their heads, which only makes the others laugh more. After the party ends and everyone begins leaving, Yang tells Soo Hyun that if he ever starts dating a girl, he should inform him first. Soo Hyun confidently replies that such a day will probably never come because he has no interest in romantic relationships. Meanwhile, So Bin later mentions to Yejun that she plans to work with Professor Hwan on a research project. The moment Yejun hears the professor's name, his expression suddenly changes. He freezes for a moment, clearly uncomfortable. So Bin immediately notices his reaction and asks why the name bothers him. However, Yejun refuses to explain and abruptly walks away, leaving her confused. It becomes clear that there is a hidden connection between Yejun and Professor Hwan. Although So Bin tries to ask for clarification, Yejun rudely avoids the topic, suggesting that the matter is deeply personal and painful for him. During the festival, some of Yejun's senior classmates create a questionable game at their stall. They tell the visitors that whoever drinks the most will get a chance to spend time with Yejun. The idea quickly attracts a large number of girls who come to participate. Yejun, however, feels uncomfortable with the situation and leaves the stall. The seniors then bring So Bin to the stall so they can introduce her as Yejun's girlfriend. As soon as she arrives, many girls begin asking her intrusive questions. The situation embarrasses her deeply and she feels humiliated by the entire spectacle. A friend quickly calls Yejun and informs him about what is happening. Hearing this, Yejun rushes back to the stall. When he sees the situation, he angrily exposes the seniors' behavior in front of everyone. The confrontation escalates quickly and the seniors begin attacking Yejun physically. Despite being outnumbered, Yejun fights back fiercely. During the fight, one of the seniors becomes worried that the incident might be recorded and reported to the police. Afraid of legal consequences, the group finally retreats and leaves the area. After the confrontation ends, Yejun takes So Bin by the hand and leads her away from the crowd. While walking, he tells her that she once wanted to know about his life. He admits that he has been beaten and bullied by people many times in the past. Then he asks her honestly whether she would really want to stay with someone who has such a troubled history. Instead of answering immediately, So Bin gently begins cleaning the wounds on his face. As she tends to his injuries, the emotional distance between them disappears. In that quiet moment, Yejun suddenly leans forward and kisses her. Meanwhile, Yang calls Soo Hyun and tells him about the fight. Concerned, Soo Hyun immediately goes to the college to check what happened. When he meets the seniors responsible for the incident, he becomes angry. One of them behaves disrespectfully and Soo Hyun responds by punching him hard before leaving. Elsewhere, Yejun asks So Bin to apply medicine to the cuts on his face. At first she feels shy about being so close to him, but eventually she agrees. While treating his wounds, she tells him that he should never get involved in such dangerous fights again. After finishing, she gently strokes his hair. Exhausted from the day's events, Yejun falls asleep while sitting there. So Bin quietly leaves the room so he can rest. Shortly afterward, Yejun wakes up and notices that she has gone. When he checks his phone, he sees several missed calls from Soo Hyun. He quickly calls him back and asks why he called so many times. Soo Hyun simply asks whether Yejun is safe and says he is relieved to hear that he is fine before ending the call. Later, Yejun playfully tells So Bin that he saved her contact name on his phone as My So Bin. Curious, he asks what name she used for him in her contacts. Embarrassed, So Bin tries to hide her phone. But Yejun grabs it and discovers that she saved his number very formally under his student identification and name. Feeling slightly disappointed by the lack of affection in the label, he teases her about it. At that moment, her phone rings. The call turns out to be from Yejun's older brother. As soon as Yejun sees the caller's name, his expression becomes serious. After the call ends, he finally explains the truth to So Bin. Professor Hwan is actually his older brother, and their relationship is extremely strained. Yejun confesses that he hates his brother more than anyone else because of the way he treated him during childhood. He reveals that when they were younger, his brother used to beat him brutally until he lost consciousness. Even years later, those memories still haunt him and make him tremble with fear and anger. Hearing this painful story, So Bin comforts him and assures him that he does not have to carry those memories alone. Meanwhile, Miju asks Soo Hyun for his phone number because she wants to stay in touch. Soo Hyun refuses politely but firmly, explaining that he does not have time for romantic distractions. Later, Yang questions him about why he rejected her request, but Soo Hyun repeats that relationships are not something he is interested in right now. Around this time, one of Yejun's seniors asks whether he can stay at Yejun's house for a few days. Yejun refuses, explaining that he already has a roommate. When the senior asks who it is, Yejun replies that the roommate is Soo Hyun. The same senior who previously fought with them later threatens Yejun. He warns that if the police become involved in the earlier fight, he will accuse Soo Hyun as well. Yejun coldly tells him to remain silent if he values his own safety. When Yejun later arrives in class, the seniors accuse him of lying about living with Soo Hyun. Soo Hyun is surprised to hear this but unexpectedly supports Yejun's story. He even claims that he also participated in the fight with the seniors. Later, Soo Hyun asks Yejun why he told such a lie about them living together. Yejun explains that if people believed Soo Hyun lived with him, no one else would dare try to move into his house because they would be afraid of Soo Hyun's tough reputation. Not long afterward, Soo Hyun receives a worrying phone call from his younger brother Gian. Their mother has developed severe stomach pain and urgently needs surgery. Although Soo Hyun is deeply concerned, he hides his worry and tells Gian to focus on his studies while he handles the financial problem. Elsewhere, Chonki confesses his feelings to So Bin. However, So Bin gently rejects him and explains that she is already in a relationship with Yejun. Chonki apologizes and accepts her decision. Soon after, Gian arrives at the college to meet Soo Hyun. With Yejun's help, he manages to find him. Yejun takes Gian to the cafeteria where Soo Hyun works. There, Gian discovers that Soo Hyun has been secretly living in a small staff room in the cafeteria to avoid paying rent. Seeing the difficult conditions his brother lives in breaks Gian's heart. He tells Soo Hyun that he will quit his studies and start working to support the family. Soo Hyun refuses firmly and insists that Gian must continue studying because his future is more important. After leaving, Gian meets Yejun outside and explains all their family problems. Touched by their situation, Yejun secretly gives him money to pay for their mother's surgery. Later, Gian tells Soo Hyun on the phone that he borrowed the money from a friend. Soo Hyun immediately suspects that the friend is actually Yejun. Around this time, one of the professors takes Soo Hyun out for a meal and shares some advice. The professor explains that people do not always need to face their struggles alone. Accepting help from others can sometimes make life's burdens easier to carry. Later, Soo Hyun meets Yejun to thank him for helping his family. However, he also says that next time Yejun should not feel obligated to help him. Soo Hyun explains that poverty often means being unable to fulfill the wishes of the people you care about. Yejun responds by saying that even though he appears to have everything, he still feels empty inside. Soo Hyun admits that he does not know when his problems will finally end. Yejun comforts him, saying that difficult times eventually pass. In return, Soo Hyun tells Yejun that he should not take his mother's cruel words seriously because people who hurt others are often broken inside themselves. Before leaving, Soo Hyun quietly tells Yejun that despite everything, he never truly hated him. Later, Miju confesses her feelings to Soo Hyun. But he gently rejects her again. Around the same time, Soo Hyun also leaves his job at the cafe. Meanwhile, Yejun and So Bin discover Soo Hyun's diary in Yejun's bag. When they read the latest entry, they notice that he wrote a disturbing sentence saying that everything is over. This frightens them because it sounds like a farewell message. At the same moment, Yejun receives a notification showing that Soo Hyun transferred a large amount of money to his account. Panicking, Yejun immediately calls him. They soon discover that Soo Hyun is standing outside Yejun's house. When Yejun arrives, he sees Soo Hyun carrying bags, realizing he has left the cafeteria staff room where he used to live. Yejun then suggests turning his earlier lie into reality by actually becoming roommates. Soo Hyun apologizes and admits that he cannot refuse the offer because he has nowhere else to go. Yejun warmly welcomes him inside and begins treating him like a member of the family. Over time, Soo Hyun slowly begins to feel comfortable living there. Soon after, So Bin notices Professor Hwan watching a video of the fight between Yejun and the seniors on his phone. The professor asks her if she knows anything about the incident. So Bin explains that Yejun was simply protecting her from those seniors. The professor then asks for her honest opinion about Yejun. So Bin looks at him calmly and responds that she already knows the professor and Yejun are brothers. After finishing her earlier conversation, So Bin heads toward her next class. While walking through the campus corridor, one of the senior students approaches her. His tone is unusually polite. He apologizes for the unpleasant situation that happened earlier and explains that several other seniors also want to apologize to her personally. Wanting to believe that they regret their behavior, So Bin agrees to follow him. The senior leads her to a small private cabin on campus. However, when they enter the room, So Bin immediately notices something strange. The other seniors who were supposed to be there are nowhere to be seen. The atmosphere makes her uneasy. The senior casually offers her a drink and tries to act friendly, but his behavior feels forced and suspicious. Soon it becomes clear that his apology was only a trick. He secretly begins recording a prank video while making the situation look humiliating for So Bin. Even worse, the video is uploaded online and starts streaming live on a website. What was supposed to be an apology turns into another attempt to embarrass her publicly. By coincidence, Ye-jun hears about the video circulating online. As soon as he realizes that So Bin might be involved, he immediately rushes toward the cabin. On the way, he tries calling So Bin to confirm whether she is safe, but the senior inside the cabin grabs So Bin's phone before she can answer. He restrains her from behind to prevent her from leaving. Just then, Ye-jun arrives at the cabin. The moment he sees what is happening, anger overwhelms him. Without hesitation, he punches the senior hard. The impact shocks the senior, and Ye-jun begins striking him repeatedly, furious about the humiliation he tried to cause. Seeing Ye-jun's rage, the senior quickly changes his attitude. He folds his hands and begins begging for forgiveness, pretending to regret his actions. For a brief moment, Ye-jun hesitates. The sight reminds him of painful memories from his childhood when violence was common in his life. Because of those memories, he stops attacking and instead turns to comfort So Bin. But the senior takes advantage of that moment. From behind, he suddenly attacks Ye-jun again. The fight restarts immediately, becoming even more intense than before. Both of them struggle violently inside the small room. Soon Yang arrives after hearing about the situation. He steps in and helps stop the senior, making sure he cannot escape. Together they make sure the senior faces the consequences of his actions. Eventually the police are called and the senior is taken away. Later that evening, another tense moment occurs. Ye-jun's older brother comes to speak with him. He wants to know why Ye-jun got involved in such a dangerous fight with the seniors. Instead of answering calmly, Ye-jun reacts emotionally. He tells his brother that the injuries from the fight mean nothing compared to the pain he experienced as a child. He reminds his brother about the times when he was beaten so badly that his body was covered with bruises. Back then, he says, no one showed him any sympathy, so now he questions why his brother suddenly cares. His brother tries to explain and calm him down, but Ye-jun refuses to listen. Feeling overwhelmed by the memories and the confrontation, he steps out of the car and walks away. Not long afterward, one of the professors whom Soo Hyun respects deeply organizes a short trip for the students. The group travels together, hoping to relax and enjoy a break from their usual routine. During the trip, everyone plays games to pass the time. One of the games they play is called Put Your Finger Down, where participants respond to questions about their experiences. During the activity, Soo Hyun asks the professor whether he has ever experienced a moment that completely changed the course of his life. The professor reflects for a moment before answering. He shares a personal story from his youth. When he was a college student, the woman he loved suddenly left him. At the time, he spent an entire day feeling angry and blaming her for abandoning him. However, he later discovered the truth. She had been suffering from a serious illness and left him because she didn't want him to suffer alongside her. That revelation taught him an important lesson. Sometimes knowing the full truth can be painful and complicated. Certain truths can change how we see the past. While listening to the professor's story, Ye-jun begins remembering a distant memory from his childhood. In the memory, he had once asked his older brother to help him reach a trophy placed on a high shelf. The younger Ye-jun could not reach it himself. His brother told him that he would talk to their father the next morning. However, when Ye-jun woke up later, he discovered his body covered with bruises and injuries. His older brother was sitting beside him. His brother then told him something shocking. From that day forward, he was an orphan and no longer had parents. Young Ye-jun burst into tears, unable to understand what had happened. Later in life, Ye-jun realized something else. The person who had actually beaten him was not his brother but their father. His brother had been trying to protect him by hiding the truth. After remembering all of this, Ye-jun finally confronts his brother and asks why he lied to him for so many years. He says that if his brother had simply told him the truth earlier, perhaps things would have been different. His brother apologizes sincerely and explains that at the time he believed that hiding the truth was the only way to protect him. Hearing this explanation, Ye-jun finally begins to understand his brother's actions. For the first time in a long while, Ye-jun thanks his brother. The tension between them softens slightly. His brother later drives him home, smiling gently as they part ways. When Yejun arrives home, he finds Soo Hyun already there. The rest of the group had returned earlier from the trip because they were worried about him. Soo Hyun asks whether Yejun managed to talk properly with his brother. Yejun tells him everything that happened during their conversation. Soo Hyun listens carefully and says that someday things will likely improve between the two brothers. Yejun smiles and quietly says he hopes that day comes soon. The next day on campus, So Bin asks Yejun whether he is feeling alright after everything that happened. He assures her that he is fine. Some seniors nearby tease Yejun, joking about how he managed to get his ATM card back after the incident. This time, however, he doesn't react to their teasing. Instead, he ignores them calmly. So Bin then comes and sits beside him in front of everyone. Yejun gently takes her hand in his, openly showing their relationship to the people around them. The gesture surprises some of the students but also confirms their bond. Meanwhile, Miju approaches Soo Hyun and asks if she can speak with him privately. Yejun notices this and jokingly signals Soo Hyun to go listen to her for once. Soo Hyun reluctantly walks over to talk with Miju. She tells him that she already knows he likes someone else, possibly Yang, and that she does not want to interfere with his feelings. Still, she asks him if he ever wondered why she liked him so much. Soo Hyun responds honestly that he isn't sure he even has the right to ask such a question. Miju explains that the reason goes back to the first day they met. She had dropped a can she was holding. And while everyone else stared or laughed, Soo Hyun quietly helped her without making a big scene. That simple act of kindness stayed in her memory. She thanks him for the kindness he showed and for being someone who entered her life unexpectedly. Soo Hyun apologizes gently for not being able to return her feelings. Elsewhere, Yejun's father sees the video showing the fight between Yejun and the seniors. Furious about the public embarrassment, he orders his driver to bring Yejun to him immediately. At the same time, So Bin receives a surprising phone call from her mother, whom she has not heard from in many years. Shocked and angry, she agrees to meet her. When they finally meet, So Bin cannot hide her resentment. She asks her mother why she suddenly remembered her after disappearing for so long. Her mother tries to apologize, but So Bin interrupts her. She says that if anyone should apologize, it should be her, for trusting and valuing her mother so deeply when she was younger. She asks where her mother was during all those nights when she cried alone, missing her. Without waiting for an explanation, So Bin walks away. Later, she meets Yejun and tells him everything that happened during the meeting. Yejun listens patiently and tells her that time sometimes heals difficult relationships. He advises her to give herself space and not rush any decisions. His reassurance helps So Bin feel slightly calmer. Just then, Yejun's father's driver arrives with a message saying that his father wants to see him immediately. Yejun tells So Bin that he needs to go home for a while and jokingly claims that his father must simply miss him. Meanwhile, So Bin continues working with Professor Hwan. During a conversation, she casually mentions that Yejun went to visit his father. The moment Professor Hwan hears this, he immediately becomes concerned. He quickly leaves his office and calls his mother to ask whether she is at home. She replies that she is not there. Realizing something might be wrong, Yejun's older brother also leaves early and heads home. In a flashback, his brother had once confronted their father and warned him that if he ever touched Yejun again, he would make sure their father paid the price. He declared that if their father wanted to release his anger, he should direct it toward him instead. Back in the present, Yejun's father watches the fight video again and criticizes him harshly. He tells Yejun that his older brother sacrificed a place at the country's top university just to watch over him, yet Yejun still managed to cause trouble. Yejun coldly responds that he barely even speaks to his brother. His father then demands that he leave school and return home permanently. Yejun refuses. Enraged by his defiance, his father drags him into a room and locks the door. In a disturbing repetition of the past, he begins beating Yejun with a trophy, the same object he used years ago. At that moment, Yejun's older brother arrives and demands that the door be opened. When he enters, he grabs their father by the collar and accuses him of secretly abusing Yejun again. Their father attempts to justify his actions, but the older brother confronts him fiercely. Outside the room, their mother becomes terrified, thinking another violent fight is happening. In panic, she calls the police. Soon the police arrive and arrest Yejun's father. Later, So-bin calls Soo Hyun to ask whether Yejun has returned home yet, but Soo Hyun tells her that he has not. Eventually, Yejun's older brother brings him back. Yejun asks what will happen to their father now. His brother explains that he will likely face prison and warns that the situation could affect Yejun's public reputation. Yejun tells his brother that now he should try to live a peaceful life. After saying goodbye, his brother leaves. When Yejun finally arrives home, the emotional weight of the day overwhelms him. He breaks down in tears because everything in his life has changed so suddenly. Soo Hyun quietly tries to comfort him. He explains that Yejun's brother has also been struggling and has not even returned home for several days after the incident. The next day at college, So-bin tells Soo Hyun she is relieved that he is living with Yejun. Knowing someone is there to support him gives her peace of mind. Soon Yejun arrives and embraces So-bin tightly. Soo Hyun watches the moment with a small smile. Yejun jokingly tells Soo Hyun that he is ruining the romantic atmosphere by standing nearby. Soo Hyun replies that he only came to deliver some class notes. So-bin says she also prepared notes for Yejun. She jokes that the person who takes the most notes for someone must love them the most. Both she and Soo Hyun hand their notes to Yejun. Later, Soo Hyun asks Yejun why he cried after returning home that night. Yejun explains that although things finally settled at home, seeing Soo Hyun made him emotional. He says that so many problems filled his life for so long that when they suddenly ended, he felt an unexpected emptiness. Soo Hyun asks whether he feels better now. Yejun says yes, but then mentions that he once saw Soo Hyun crying too. Soo Hyun insists he never cries and asks when that happened. Yejun changes the topic slightly and says he saw Soo Hyun crying from the inside. Eventually, Soo Hyun quietly admits that he understands what he means. Meanwhile, one of the seniors publicly apologizes to So-bin in front of the entire class. She decides to forgive him and move on. Later, their teacher introduces a class activity where everyone participates in a Secret Santa-style game. Students draw names secretly and prepare small acts of kindness for the person they receive. During lunch, everyone reveals the results. Soo Hyun's behavior makes it obvious that he is secretly helping Yejun. The next day, Soo Hyun quietly does several things to make Yejun's life easier. Yejun realizes that Soo Hyun is his secret supporter but pretends not to notice. One evening, Yejun's father, drunk and frustrated, arrives at the house. He forces his way inside and demands to know where Yejun's mother is. Yejun calmly tells him that there is still time for him to apologize to everyone he hurt. His father attempts to strike him again, but Yejun grabs his hand and stops him. He tells him firmly that he is no longer the frightened child who used to endure his beatings. Furious, his father storms out of the house. Later, Yejun's older brother receives a call from their father inviting him to meet. When they meet, the father tries to justify his actions by saying that everything he built was through his own hard work and that he only wanted to provide happiness for his family. He even claims that he still loves their mother and wants her to return home. But the older brother refuses to accept these excuses. He tells his father that he no longer deserves to call them his family and that he must now face the consequences of his actions alone. He also admits that years ago he should have told Yejun the truth instead of lying to protect him. According to him, that lie only caused Yejun years of unnecessary pain. Hearing this, the father threatens that if the entire truth about the family becomes public, the older brother's reputation at the university could be destroyed. But the brother calmly replies that he no longer cares about his reputation. Sometime later, the atmosphere in the dormitory feels strangely quiet. So Bin and Yang begin to notice how empty the place feels without Miju. She has left both the dormitory and the college, and her absence leaves a noticeable gap in their daily lives. One evening, the two friends sit together in their room, remembering the moments they shared with her. To lighten the mood, they open a few drinks and begin talking about old memories. As the conversation continues, So-bin notices that Yang seems unusually thoughtful and a little sad. She asks him what is bothering him. After hesitating for a moment, Yang asks her a sincere question, whether it is possible for someone you like to eventually return your feelings. So-bin thinks about it carefully before answering. She tells him that sometimes love is simply about patience. If the timing is right, the person meant for you will eventually come closer. Her words are gentle and encouraging, and they make Yang feel slightly more hopeful. The next day, the students gather for a meeting about an upcoming group presentation. During the discussion, Ye-jun and Soo-hyun begin arguing in front of the rest of the group. The disagreement starts because they have completely different ideas for the topic. Ye-jun wants the project to focus on youth and emotional experiences, while Soo-hyun prefers a more realistic and practical subject. Their debate grows more intense, and the other group members feel awkward watching the conflict. Frustrated by their argument, So-bin suddenly leaves the meeting. Later, she speaks privately with Ye-jun and advises him to consider Soo-hyun's point of view as well. She explains that when people look back on their lives, they often remember the struggles that shaped them. Success alone can sometimes feel empty if it is not connected to meaningful experiences. Ye-jun listens quietly and smiles slightly at her words. So-bin then asks him another question. She wonders whether the constant arguments between him and Soo-hyun make things uncomfortable at home since they are living together. Ye-jun responds that Soo-hyun tends to get angry quickly, but his anger usually fades just as quickly. Because of that, their disagreements rarely last long. Later that evening, both Ye-jun and Soo-hyun want to talk to each other and settle their disagreement. However, their pride prevents them from starting the conversation. Instead, they keep their distance. That night, Ye-jun begins cooking something in the kitchen. The smell of the food drifts through the apartment and wakes Soo-hyun. Eventually, they sit down and share dinner together. For a moment, the atmosphere feels peaceful again. Unfortunately, when the topic of their project comes up, they start arguing once more. The following day, So-bin learns about their latest fight. She jokingly tells them that they argue like a married couple. Instead of laughing, Ye-jun reacts awkwardly because he doesn't like the comparison. The remark makes the situation slightly uncomfortable. Around the same time, Gi-yeon meets Soo-hyun and gives him an important item, his father's old journal. Gi-yeon tells him that he no longer needs to worry about the family's financial responsibilities and should focus on his own life. According to him, Soo-hyun should follow what his heart truly wants instead of constantly sacrificing his dreams. During another group meeting, Ye-jun suggests combining both ideas for their presentation. He proposes showing both the bright and dark sides of youth. His suggestion excites the group members, and everyone agrees it could make their project more meaningful. To develop the concept further, each person shares a difficult experience from their own life. When it becomes Ye-jun's turn, he reveals something very personal. He explains that since childhood he has been a victim of physical abuse from his father. The room becomes quiet after hearing his story because no one expected such a painful confession. After the meeting ends, Soo-hyun privately asks Ye-jun whether he feels okay after sharing something so personal with everyone. Ye-jun replies that those memories no longer affect him as strongly as they once did. Soo-hyun gently disagrees and explains that even deep wounds need time to heal. He tells Ye-jun that his experiences are not something meaningless, they are important parts of his life. The next day, the group gathers again to continue preparing their project. Ye-jun proudly presents the script he has written. Everyone compliments his work. Then Soo-hyun raises another question: how will they visually represent the dark side of youth during the presentation? The group members jokingly answer that if Soo-hyun simply stands in front of the camera, the darkness will appear automatically. Their playful comment makes everyone laugh, but Soo-hyun becomes slightly irritated by the teasing. Despite the earlier arguments, the group eventually manages to finish the project together. Through the process of working as a team, they slowly resolve their misunderstandings. One night, while everyone is preparing for the final presentation, Ye-jun deliberately reads his lines loudly and dramatically, even though Soo-hyun is trying to sleep. The exaggerated reading keeps Soo-hyun awake. Annoyed, Soo-hyun scolds him and tells him to be quiet, but Ye-jun continues anyway just to tease him. Finally, the day of the presentation arrives. Ye-jun confidently presents the team's project in front of the class and the professor. The performance goes extremely well and their work receives the highest praise. The professor even declares their project the best among all the groups. Excited by the success, the students decide to celebrate. During the celebration, Soo-hyun reminds everyone that they should finally reveal their identities in the Secret Santa game they had been playing. Wanting to tease him, Yejun jokingly claims that his secret Santa did nothing helpful at all. Soo Hyun immediately protests and says that he actually did many things for him. Yejun laughs and admits that he was only joking. The group continues enjoying the celebration with laughter and good spirits. Later that night, after the party ends, So Bin goes to meet Chan Kai. He tells her that he will soon leave to serve in the military. Hearing this news makes the moment emotional. So Bin hugs him and wishes him good luck. While hugging her, Chan Kai struggles to hide the tears in his eyes so she will not notice. He asks her to keep her eyes closed while he counts to 3. As soon as she does, he quickly wipes away his tears and runs away before she can see how emotional he feels. Around the same time, Yang gathers the courage to confess her feelings to Soo Hyun. However, Soo Hyun does not respond with the same emotions. Instead of becoming upset, Yang gives him sincere advice. She tells him that if he ever falls in love with someone in the future, he should confess immediately because opportunities lost in love rarely return. Soo Hyun asks her if she plans to leave. Yang replies that she is not leaving the place completely, but she will be moving forward with her own life and dreams. Later, Chan Kai and Yang talk together and share their feelings of heartbreak. By opening up to each other, they manage to comfort one another and ease their pain. Meanwhile, Soo Hyun tells Yejun that his mother recently sent him his father's journal. After reading it completely, he finally understands many hidden struggles that his father faced throughout his life. The journal helped him see his father in a new light. Soo Hyun admits that his childhood dream was to become a police officer just like his father. Yejun encourages him by saying that dreams do not have an expiration date. Even if someone cannot achieve their original dream, they can still write their own ending in life. Hearing this advice makes Soo Hyun smile. He tells Yejun that he has matured a lot compared to before. Later, Yejun asks Soo Hyun whether they could travel somewhere together during the upcoming summer vacation. Soo Hyun explains that he plans to spend the vacation with his mother and hopes to bring her to live in the city with him afterward. Although Yejun feels a little disappointed, Soo Hyun reassures him that their friendship will not change. 2 months pass and their bond remains strong. Each of them continues moving forward in their own way. So Bin may not have gained impressive achievements for her resume, but she collected many unforgettable memories with her friends. Yang continues studying at the university, preparing for her future as a teacher. Sometimes Soo Hyun secretly brings her energy drinks while she studies late at night. Soo Hyun still does not have much time for romantic relationships, but he slowly becomes more open and warm toward the people close to him. In the final moments, So Bin, Soo Hyun, and Yejun meet again on campus with bright smiles. The difficult seasons of their lives seem to be ending and a new chapter is beginning. For them, it finally feels like spring has arrived. And with that hopeful moment, the story reaches its conclusion.